It was always one of my favorite things whenever someone said, like, oh, what do you do for work? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I own a pest control company. And then they kind of look at me like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or if you make money or if you don't make money. But, when you're talking to another bug guy and you talk about recurring or you talk about how things are going, it's like instantly you're like, oh, yeah, dude, you're killing it. We have none other than the only Matt Alexander, who is a dedicated public servant and entrepreneur based in Blanchard, Oklahoma. He currently serves as the mayor of Dibble. Matt is the founder and owner of Aero Pest Management. He is also a firefighter. His multifaceted roles reflect a deep-seated commitment to serving others and improving the quality of life in his community. So here we go. Welcome to the Bug Bucks Podcast, a podcast designed to turn you into a bug money millionaire. This episode is brought to you by Bug Bucks Plus, the #1 training and education platform designed to help you build and scale your pest control company. I'm your host, Eric Bassett, and over in the Vancouver studio, my co-host, Jay Klaus. What is up, dude?
What's up, Eric? What's up, Bug Bucksers?
All right, man. So before we hit record, Jana came into the room, and I swear I overheard her saying something about a storage container that you guys were buying. Is this right?
Yes.
Do tell. Spill the details.
Yeah, what you heard was her come into the studio and say, "Jake, give me your credit card. I'm buying the shipping container." So, yeah, we're approaching a little home remodel project, and so we've got to move everything out of the garage. So, well, you can't just in the Northwest, you can't just move everything out and just let it sit on the side of your driveway.
Yep.
So we're getting a shipping container. So we're gonna have a 20-foot shipping container dropped off probably Monday or Tuesday. And then the idea, here's the dream. The dream is that once the shipping container is empty, once the project is over, I can put my mower and like chainsaws and my stuff in the front of the container. But then the back of the container is going to be a sauna / ice plunge.
Hey,
that's the goal.
All right. Yeah, I can get on board with this one. This sounds great.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic idea. Also, so last weekend was Mother's Day, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember you had some mustache shenanigans that we needed to report on. What happened?
I did. Okay, so I said that the jig was going to be up before Mother's Day. And absolutely, that evening after we'd recorded the podcast, Jan was looking at me and she goes, "Why is your mustache longer than your beard?" And it wasn't like too much longer, but it's noticeable, I guess. She's like, "Why is your mustache longer than your beard?" And I was like, well, I had this whole master plan. And she's like, "That's stupid. Just shave it off now." So just like I predicted, I did not make it to Mother's Day. Jana caught me. My plan was foiled. And again, Jana won, Jake 0. So
love it. Of course.
Yeah. Can't sneak anything.
Jana found you out again.
She found me out. Yep.
All right. Well,
thanks for following up, though.
Yeah, of course. In other good news, we have a fantastic guest for you guys today. But before we bring them on, just a few things. I want to remind everybody listening, the best way to receive new episodes is by subscribing to our show on your preferred podcast platform like Apple, YouTube, Audible, or Spotify. If you love the show, please leave us a rating and a review. Make sure to check out our Facebook group, Bug Bucks Plus. That is BUGBUX Plus. We have the owners only group that has over 5,000 other pest control owners waiting to connect with you and share their thoughts. We also have the Bug Bucks Pest Pros group for non-owner team members designed to help them develop in their roles. Joining the groups is the best way to connect with us, share your feedback on our show, and have your questions highlighted and discussed here on the podcast. So make sure you find us on Facebook and join one of those groups. All right, dude. So the guest that we have on the show today is really awesome. And some of the cool things about him is that, one, he's obviously a member of the Facebook group, so he's engaged, which is great. And he actually posted a really, really cool post in the Facebook group that I'm going to read here in a little bit. But we do have a rap sheet for him, so I'm just going to read this off, and then we're going to introduce him and talk about him. So here we go. We have none other than the only Matt Alexander, who is a dedicated public servant and entrepreneur based in Blanchard, Oklahoma. He currently serves as the mayor of Dibble, a neighboring town where he actively works to enhance community development and ensure responsible use of tax dollars. His journey into politics began after a contentious city council meeting in Blanchard, where his advocacy for local law enforcement inspired him to seek public office. He was subsequently elected to the city council and served as vice mayor before assuming his current role as mayor of Dibble. In addition to his political career, Matt is the founder and owner of Aero Pest Management, a company established in Blanchard with a mission to provide reliable, effective, and eco-friendly pest control services to the community. Under his leadership, the company has grown into a trusted name in pest control, serving a wide range of clients across Blanchard, Oklahoma City, and the surrounding areas. Matt's commitment to the public service extends beyond his mayoral duties. He is also a firefighter, demonstrating his dedication to the safety and well-being of his community. His multifaceted roles reflect a deep-seated commitment to serving others and improving the quality of life in his community. Wow, what a rap sheet. Matt, welcome to the show, dude.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Dude, you're doing all sorts of stuff over there. Do you ever get tired?
Yeah, a lot. But you're just grind through, so.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's awesome. It's great to have you on the show. And I, in your Facebook post, and I'll kind of summarize a little bit. You said that when you posted it, you said that tomorrow was your 365th day in business. What a ride. And you went back and forth talking about how day one you were hoping for a paycheck. By day 365, you had a comfortable paycheck. Day one you had some lofty goals. By day 365, you were killing those goals by 22%. Dude, looks like you're cruising right along there, man. So I'd love to know how you even got into pest control. Obviously, you have some experience here in politics. We got to ask about that too. But
yeah,
where does the Matt journey start?
Yeah, well, I was construction for many years. I was actually a hydraulic wall saw operator. So I don't know if you guys know what that is. That's cutting big openings in concrete buildings for like doors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. In fact, I'm going to need that.
Yeah, don't call me. I don't do that no more.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
No, I did that for a long time. And then I had a buddy who was a salesman for a pest control company who told me how crappy their techs were and how they left money on the table every month, how much I could make. And I thought he was full of crap. And then I made the leap into pest control. In my first year in pest control, I did 105,000 as a tech. And I just, from there, the most I did was 125,000. I started with a company called Oklahoma Pest Management right at the time Orkin was acquiring them. So I immediately became Big O. So, but I was commercial only. So all I ran was commercial, which gave me a lot of insight, which a lot of pest control companies, especially new startups, don't have. They're thinking, go service a bunch of houses. I think service a few commercial accounts in less time and make more money.
Yeah. So how long ago was it that you were working for Orkin?
I worked for them for 5 years and then I was with Hobbs for 3. So about 9 years ago is when I started. 10 years ago.
And just about right now, and I didn't double check on the date of this post, but it's you guys just hit your 1-year anniversary for Aero Pest Management, right?
April 11th.
April 11th. Nice. Congrats, dude. That's awesome.
So are most of these, you 322 customers, this is, these are mostly residential, or did you stick with commercial?
50% of the business is commercial right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you plan on keeping it that way?
Honestly, where we're at, I'll take whatever comes. I mean, I'm always pushing for commercial. That's what I'm out trying to sell every day. Member of an apartment association, stuff like that, to pick up those commercial accounts. But we're picking up 3, 4, or 5 new quarterly residentials every day. But the office now is selling those and my tech servicing those. So it's weird having customers I've never had any interaction with, but that's obviously where we need to be and go to scale. So
yeah. How are you guys getting the leads in the door?
A lot of it originally was I have like an army of people on Facebook that'll tag me in all the local groups. So I'll get, 15 tags where other companies will have like 2. So we got a lot that way in the beginning. Now we've invested money into SEO and Google local services and
Mm.
stuff like that. I don't even know if we like our LSA just went active, I think last week. So I don't even think we've gotten a lead from that yet. So
Wow.
really, I mean, organic, my name's known pretty well through all the local towns just from what I do. You know, I put out their grandma's fire at their house or whatnot like that. And then the mayoral stuff connects you with a lot of business owners, you know, because they
Mhm.
need things from the city and stuff like that. So they reach out to me and I've got a crap ton of relationships that way.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I was gonna say, I mean, as the mayor of the town and a firefighter, I mean, can you give us just like a few examples of how your mayoral presence and influence, like how does that trickle down? How does that flow down to Aero Pest Management?
More so just a connection and having your foot in the door with the business owners. I mean, a lot of them, pest control is like the last thing on their mind. It's something they pay $125 a month for. You know, if there's
Right.
not a mouse running around or a cockroach on the counter in front of a customer, they don't think about it. But they all know me. And then when they do have that cockroach run across the counter or the mouse run through their store, they're like, okay, we need to call Matt. This guy, other guy's not working out.
You're top of
Mhm.
mind.
Yeah, and just the recognition of it, and that works in the residential aspect too. I mean, I have 5,000 Facebook friends, and most of them are from my local community. And as soon as a bed bug pops up, you know, they don't go and post in a group looking for somebody for bed bugs. They'd be all embarrassed. They private message me and ask me not to tell nobody.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like if I was in that community and someone was like, "Hey, does anybody recommend someone for ant control or whatever?" I'd be like, "Dude, the mayor owns a pest control company. Like, who else are you gonna call?" That's amazing.
Yeah, it,
Yeah,
it all
that's
day.
awesome.
We're tagged. I love it.
Dude, crazy. So when did you start your firefighting aspect of your career?
When I moved to my current house here, I always wanted to do it, but in our other town, like their volunteers are on shift and stuff like that. The way they operate isn't the way I like to. When I moved out here, it's pure volunteer fire department. It was, I don't know, sounded cool. Wanted to be a
Yeah.
cop when I was younger, and I learned firefighters are better, so I'm a firefighter.
So you get toned out for a fire, and everybody you drive POV to the station, get the engine, go to the fire, or how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, for the most part, our chief and our assistant chief have command vehicles that they take home so they could be
Hmm.
first on scene, quick command. But yeah, we go POV to station or a lot of medical calls because I'm like 9 miles from station. So anything
Oh
that
wow.
comes my way, I have a med bag and I have my bunker gear and my work van. And they always, we called the
Funny.
fire department. Why is the bug guy showing up?
You know what, dude? It's so funny because that's exactly what it's like for me out here too. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I show up, people are like, what's going on? And then I start putting my bunker gear on out of the back of my van, and they're like, I'm confused. Like you can actually see on people's faces, like, what's happening here?
All right, but have you ever put out a grass fire or a structure fire with your backpack? Because I've done both.
That's awesome.
We, we had a chicken coop that was up
No.
against a
Okay, story
trailer, and
time.
it was about to light the trailer house up, and I pulled out my backpack and I put it out with 4 gallons before the engine arrived.
Dude, you're writing up that invoice and you're like, "Okay, Department of Ag, this is gonna sound weird, but just trust me,
It
this needed to
works.
happen."
We had another
Yeah.
one where,
It
what
was
was it?
just water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, it was 100%. I don't mix until I get on site.
There we go. There we go, dude.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
amazing.
Wow.
Have
That's
you ever
crazy.
landed like have you ever had that moment with somebody where you like show up to someone's house as like either the bug guy or the firefighter and they recognize you from a previous encounter?
yeah, it happens a lot. Like I'm all over Facebook in our area, so I get even just people all know me and know my name. Hey, Matt, and it's, hi, you know, have a good
You're like,
day.
I don't know you, but hello.
Yep.
But
Did
you
your house
Yeah,
can't
burn
say
that's
that.
down?
always a
That's rude. Yeah,
that's always a
right.
funny thing. Like you get called out to like a medical. This happened with a few people in our district. Get called out to a medical, and you're standing there like helping out or whatever. And then like the dad looks at you and he's like, "You look familiar. Do I know you from somewhere?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do your pest control." He's like, "That's right. That's where I know you from."
Knew it. You looked familiar. Killing bugs,
Yeah.
saving people. Love
Yep,
it.
It's good for customer retention.
it
Honestly.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. So like,
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
keep that guy. He's nice.
That's a good
He
dude.
he
Yeah,
helped
he's cute.
grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Matt, in your Facebook post, at the end of it, you said, "To my partners, I'm ready to see what we do this year." And then in parentheses, you said, "And I told you so," with like a little winky face, right? I want to know the story behind that. And when you first started your company, who are your partners? What's that relationship like? How did you find them?
They've been best friends of us and our family for about a decade. They've owned Aero Fence and Shelter and the Gate Guy, and they built that to like $3 million a year company. And Sean's getting older, and he's wanting to retire soon. He's wanting some mailbox money, so I
Hmm.
was having issues. I was a minority owner at another company, and the two majority owners were husband and wife, and they started doing drugs and drinking and embezzling money and just all sorts
Okay.
of crazy. And was trying to figure out what I was gonna do
Wow.
next. And Sean's like, "Well, why don't you start your own?" And I was like, "Well, I need money for that." He's like, "Well, I got money." So we had a meeting. I think they figured 50,000 on startup costs. I figured 30. We
Hmm.
started up for 26,000 with
Nice.
original chemical, our first band, everything like that. Um, and about month 2 or month 3 or so, we had a meeting where they were stressed out or just kind of no, they don't understand our industry because
Hmm.
obviously they're in the construction industry. And I was like, y'all, don't worry, because they were thinking everything's contract. They don't understand termite jobs, bed bug jobs, odd
Oh yeah.
jobs, where the bread and butter is on top of the recurring money. They're like, we're
Hmm.
only at 100,000 in contracts. I figured we'd be at like 300. I'm like, y'all don't understand. And then year one, we were $1,500 short of 300,000 for total revenue.
That's
I
awesome.
Nice.
needed to sell one more damn termite job, and we would have hit 300,000.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's cool, and every now and again, you find somebody that's kind of outside of the industry and they don't really totally understand how it works. It was always one of my favorite things to whenever someone said, "Look, what do you do for work?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I own a pest control company." And then they kind of look at me like, "I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or if you make money or if you don't make money. I have no idea, right?" So outside the industry, it's funny just what people think. But when you're talking to another bug guy and you talk about recurring or you talk about how things are going, it's like instantly you're like, "Oh yeah, dude, you're killing it." So
Well, that was one of my favorite
Well,
things when I was at Orkin. I was making, like I said, between 105 and 125,000 a year, and everybody just
mhm.
looks at you as the lowly old bug guy. Like you could feel,
yeah,
they're like, "Oh, that poor guy's making $12 an hour over here dealing with bed budget." Yeah, you keep thinking that.
Yep.
you're right. So what I want to know is how did you get those first 322 customers? Like how did you grow to that number?
We're going to take a quick moment to highlight one of the premier sponsors of the BugBucks Plus platform. Treat where they hide, treat where they eat. Cockroaches and small flies are among the most challenging pests to eliminate because they often hide in hard to reach areas like drains or beneath and behind equipment. Nibor D plus IGR from Nisus is a powerful solution combining a ready-to-use insecticide foam with an insect growth regulator. This versatile product can be sprayed on non-food surfaces or applied deep into drains and other hard-to-reach areas using the included 17-inch flexible semi-rigid straw. The foam penetrates where cockroaches and small flies live, eat, and breed, targeting these pests at the source. Make sure to stock Nibor D plus IGR from Nisus on your truck so you can tackle small fly and cockroach problems in your commercial and residential accounts. To learn more about how Nisus and their product lineup can take your company to the next level, DM the phrase Nisus to the BugBucks Facebook page. Now back to the BugBucks podcast.
I've had about 20 customers that have followed me wherever I go. One of them's a really good customer, Sequoia Enterprises. They have assisted living, I guess, for adult males with developmental disabilities. So they
Okay.
had major bed bug issues before I came in. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get rid of them. And
Whoa.
I have I have all of their facilities in my area, and they're $34,000 a year contract. That was
Oh,
one of the
cool.
first ones I got. And then just honestly, just going out there and saying, "Hey, I started my own company." The phone started blowing up. We had over 100 customers in the first month and a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. And so
Wow.
what do you mean you go out there? Like you talking about you put out on Facebook or you go door to
Yeah.
door?
No, I just put it out there on Facebook, and I got, I think, 200 shares on that. Like,
Oh, rad.
Jeez.
it's
Wow.
almost like a little cult following. I don't know. That's what my business partner Maddie says. She's like, "You have a cult following." I'm like, "I don't know." Like,
You should start a TikTok like Matt the Bug Guy and just live in the stardom, dude.
right. I was gonna start a TikTok for the baby raccoon I saved and was raising until the game warden told me it was illegal, and I had to bring it to a sanctuary. That's
Okay, Matt, listen. You can do a TikTok for your bug stuff, but
Oh,
if once we
man.
get into saving baby raccoons, you're talking about that's too much of an advantage. I can't allow it. Can't allow it.
it was cute,
Goodness.
man. It was
Oh, I
awesome.
bet it's
Yeah. You
adorable.
can't compete with that.
No. Yeah, how does anybody compete with that? That's amazing.
The
Okay,
warden
so
the warden was on your team
Man,
then.
that's awesome.
yeah, Warden's like, sorry, Matt, you have too much power. Too much power here. Can't have it. So what does the team at Aero Pest Management look like right now?
Right now I have one part-time office administrator, one full-time tech, and myself.
Awesome. And how are you guys
Oh,
splitting
so
up?
you're not stuck in a truck.
What's that?
I said you're not stuck in the truck.
I am, but I have more freedom now that I have my tech. I hired my
Hmm.
tech in January, trained him January, February, and kicked him out on his own in March. So I've freed up time for more sales and stuff like this, and apartment association meetings and stuff like that.
Oh,
Nice.
perfect.
So is that kind of the game plan for you? Like obviously have the technician continue picking up the services on accounts while you focus mostly on the sales side of the business?
Yes, and the other things I'm picking up is the termite jobs, the bed bug jobs, the big one-time stuff, and
Mhm.
it's actually been coming in pretty consistently, which has had me thinking about hiring another guy, but that's that where you get on the fence because it's not contract, you know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
yeah, the phone's ringing today. If the phone stops ringing tomorrow, I don't want to tell somebody they aren't with me anymore just because the phone's not ringing.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally understand that. And you've got your part-time office admin who's also taking some sales calls too?
Yes. She's actually been killing it. Kind of did a price sheet for her and oh, what do you call it? A script and all that.
Mhm.
And she kind of learned that and developed her own style on it. And she's closed probably 30 quarterlies in the last week and a half.
Dude, that's awesome. That's great. Well, and
Wow.
it's,
And again,
Nice.
that's the weird part to me is I don't know these people. I've never met them. I never meet them because my tech serviced them. My office girls sold them. It's like they ask a question. I'm like, who's that? Oh, I guess
Yeah,
they're
you're
our
used to knowing
customer.
every single customer by name.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wait until you walk into the office and you're like, wait, who's this new office person? Or
Yeah.
like you're in the office and a technician shows up and you're like, wait, who?
Were you?
I haven't met you before. And you walk over, you're like, hi, I'm Jake. And they're like, yeah, I'm so and so. You're like, wow, there's a new technician working here and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, dude,
You
when I
interviewed
was
them
up in
in?
Weird.
town, it was a couple weeks ago. Me and Jake were grabbing some product um, out of the storage area, and so I'm walking with these two bags of biphin, right? And I'm wearing normal clothes. I'm not wearing anything that's company affiliated at all. So I've got these two bags of biphin, and I'm walking through the office, and I see one of these new technicians who doesn't know who I am, and I'm like, this guy probably thinks I'm just some normal dude stealing biphin at the back door, right? So I'm like, "Oh, hey, like, how's it going?" He's like, "Good." And I'm like, "I'm Eric. I'm one of the owners." He's like, "Oh, it's great to meet you." And I'm like, "I promise, I'm not some random guy just taking your freaking product, dude."
Just stealing bipin.
Yeah, but it's funny when you're first starting to grow the company and you know all the customers by name, you know the employees by name, and you have really close, intimate relationships with everybody. And as the business grows and scales, You just can't be everywhere all at once, you know?
Yeah. Your time's
And if
valuable.
no, and if you try to be, it actually kind of stifles the business a little bit. And I wanted to say, I think it's great. It sounds like you're really utilizing your time and your resources wisely. There's a lot of companies that we talk to that, they're trying to do it all, right? In the beginning, they're still doing the teching, they're still doing the sales, they still take all the inbound leads, they still do all of the inspections, everything, right? And even when they bring on an office person, it's like, okay, all you can do is schedule stuff. Don't do anything else, right? And they're kind of scared to let go. And you have your office person, scheduling, selling, doing office admin, everything already, which is phenomenal. It's a great use of resources.
Yeah, definitely. Because especially for me, the customer in front of me is the most important. And when I was
Mhm.
taking the inbound phone calls, like if I don't answer the phone the way I am with business, if you don't answer the phone when I call you out for the first time, I won't do
Mhm.
business with you because you're definitely not going to answer your phone when you screw something up. So
Yeah.
I'd have to
Right.
take the calls, and I felt like I was taken away from my customer in front of me. So I had to give up the phone, which was hard. It
Mhm.
was. And then even training my new tech, I took him out for the first 2 months and sent him on his own on the third, but I'd go meet customers with them because a lot of them are personal friends and stuff like that. And it's, you know, if you don't let me transition to running this business and you want me here doing your spider webs for you, this business is never going to grow. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, and
Did you
you're
run
in
into?
that. Oh,
Oh, go ahead, Jake.
yeah. So I was just gonna say, you're in that stage of business too, where you can comfortably hold everything in the basket that you can hold in your arms. Like if you can answer the phones if you need to, you can jump in a truck if you need to, you can do sales if you need to. You can go do a commercial bid or whatever if you need to, and that's really that's a comfortable place to be because you've got someone that's kind of doing all the jobs. You got part-time office person, part-time technician, so you've got people that are like they're handling a lot of that day to day, and so it frees you up. And then the pinch point is going to become um, where you can't hold everything all at once, and now you transition from doing things in the business to managing people in the business. Do you have your sights set on that type of growth? And how long do you think it'll take for you to get to that place where you're managing people instead of managing things?
That's where I'm shooting for, and I'm shooting for 4 to 5 years. We're on track to do 500,000 this year for year two. Um, we did 40,000 last month, which was our biggest month. We've had 12 to 20% month over month growth since December. So just every month, just exploding. We've already done 34,000 this month as of today.
Love
So
it.
Nice.
it's crazy, but yeah, again, it's at that point where I'm like, I know I need to hire, but I'm still, it's not there in contracts, and you worry about winter and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'd say, I mean, at the most 5 years, because we did 300. If we do five this year, I mean, that's around 40% growth year over year. That's nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first few years when you're like doubling the size of your company year over year, you're just, like just killing it or tripling or however way that people are doing it. It's such a wild ride, you know? And then later on in whatever years, like the jump from whatever it is, 4 million to 5 million, and you have like a 25% growth and you're like, man, I used to double my company, but it's just it's a crazy thing to think about the pace that you have to start with. And yeah, dude, it sounds like you're pretty close to having to pick up that next technician. I wanted to ask you about the training that you did with your tech in the field. What were some of the things like difficulties that you found training your first technician? And what are some pro tips that you have for other guys that might be doing the same thing here soon?
I mean, I don't know if you guys know Pete Chopin, but Pete Chopin actually taught me something really that I appreciated, and that was to teach him 10 things every day. 10 new things every day. He's in the truck with you. Write them
Hmm.
down the day before, know what they're going to be, and make sure he knows them by the end of the day. And I really hammered down on that with him. Um, the biggest thing I taught him, though, is give the customers paying for the service, but they're also buying your time. Like, I don't overload my technician. I want him to run, 1,000, 1,200 a day. I don't need him to do 15, 18 stops or something like that. Cause I want the customer to feel like they're getting their value for customer retention. Cause I mean, we all know how big O is or big T is, 18, regular services and then 2 new starts at the end of the day, they drop on you. You're never going to
Yep.
do a good service with that. You're never going to keep customers. You have to keep buying customers like they do.
Well, we see that I call them $2,000 wasp nests or $2,000 spider webs. I think I've mentioned this on the show before. If you're rushing through services and you miss a spider web, you miss a wasp nest on the house, then all it takes is door-to-door sales guy comes through the next day, knocks on Mrs. Johnson's door and says, "Oh, Natura was just out here yesterday. Well, there's a wasp nest up here. I guess they don't sweep." So that's something that we do, right? And then they just make some crap up about how whatever. But, then you lose that customer over one wasp nest. And, over the next 2 years, 2.5 years or whatever, that's $2,000. That wasp nest just cost you $2,000. So that's smart, man. Being able to just have your guys give them time to slow down, be ultra thorough, build the relationships. That's how you really hit those. That's how you get those customers for life. I mean, that's brilliant.
I mean, even my assistant police chief at my town's one of my customers. And I was just in a meeting over there and he said, yeah, Hagen came out last week, man. And I'd never seen someone be so thorough. Like he was he did everything. He didn't miss any webs, this and that. And I was like, yes,
Talking
because
about
again, he started in January with me and it's May now. And, the customers absolutely love him. So.
that's
Yeah.
killer. Has he voiced whether he prefers doing services on residential versus commercial?
He has not. I don't give him a lot of commercial. Like he has our nursing homes down in Duncan and stuff like that. I don't know. I guess I'll have to ask him because I don't know if he does have a preference. I mean, early on, it was a little tough just because he had so many questions and like questions that was like, dude, we could talk about that after work. You don't have to call me while I'm in a meeting. But, and you get that with techs, especially somebody who's never been in the industry because it's delayed gratification. You know what I mean? The first time they go out and treat somewhere, they knew they sprayed a product where they were supposed to. They knew they wiped or, took the spider webs down and the wasp nests, but they don't get to see the results until they go back the next time and there's no new nests built. There's no new
Oh yeah.
webs built. Okay, my product worked. When they hear your customer tell you, golly, 3 days after you left, there were piles of bugs everywhere,
Yep.
so I think he's getting to that point now where he's starting to realize that delayed gratification of his service.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you think that you plan on keeping him around for a long time? What I mean by that is as you start to grow, you're obviously going to need to have leadership people in the right place. And, maybe hopefully this guy's not listening to this podcast episode, but I mean, are you at this stage in the business, are you looking ahead at hiring from within for leadership positions, service manager, office manager, and so on? Or is that like far off in the distance for you?
No, I'm already thinking about it. I think he'd be a great lead tech or even service manager if time came, especially as we build the business together. I mean, you're able to build that trust with somebody who didn't know pest control from Adam when he started with me, and if he's with me for 5 years, he's going to know the ins and outs of how I work, my personality, same with me and him. And if he keeps up the way he is with customer satisfaction, absolutely. Because, I mean, the other company I was with prior to starting this one, we'd have our shop meetings and the majority owner would just belittle our customers to the techs. And it was like, this is such an ugly atmosphere. Your techs are sitting here talking crap about customers outside. Like, you understand they pay the light bill. Like, we have this building because they paid their bill, right?
Right.
So I want to be the exact opposite of that.
Dang. Well, and it's cool that you've got a guy that has that potential because he's here from the beginning. Everything pest control that he's going to know hopefully for the rest of his career there anyway, is going to be from you specifically. He doesn't have any bad habits from any other companies or any other work that he's been doing. And if your company continues on the trajectory that it is, and you guys end up growing into something big and huge, exactly what you want, him having that history with the company hey, like I've been here since the first year in business, right? If he turns into the service manager one day or whatever he ends up being, that kind of buy-in isn't something that can really be developed in any other way. That's awesome. Cool opportunity
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah, definitely. And he's earning it so far. I mean, I've had we sold a tweaker, I don't know, and that's the only customer he's ever complained about.
Like it's
I still
like
think,
a tweaker, like someone who's like definitely like high on something, or someone who
yeah,
is like
somebody
the
who's
I see
definitely high,
bugs.
somebody who's definitely high on meth.
Cool, cool. Do they pay their bills?
Yep,
I need
we've
to
had that.
check. Think we need to collect them up front on servicing for
That'd be a good
sure.
idea. Yeah, every now and again,
Yeah.
I remember having one of those customers and they called in and he's like, "Hey man, I've got bugs. I can hear them. I can hear them in my bed frame." And I'm like, "Oh boy, like here we go." And I'm
Have you
like, "Well,
got the
hey man,
ones where they're burrowing in their arms?
yep, seen those
I've
ones
gotten
before like
plenty of
the
those too.
oh dude." So, I'm telling him like, "Hey, we can come out, we'll do an inspection, but if we really don't find anything, there's really no reason for us to do any treatment." He goes, "No, please, please, you just have to just do a general treatment. I'll pay for it. Like, just got to do it." And I'm like, "Well, I guess in theory, if it makes this guy feel better, then fine. We'll do a general pest treatment." So I send my technician out there and he's like sending me photos and sending me texts like, "Bro, like this guy has drugs on his dresser. I don't even know what they are. Like, this is the most wild scenario I've ever seen." And I was like, "Did you get paid?" And he's like, "In cash." Like the guy paid.
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
like, "All right, well,
Tell them
that's
don't put
fine."
that money near his mouth or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Be careful how much of the money you touch. You're going to get a little contact high.
Yeah. I saw this on Facebook. I know what the deal is with those dollar bills on the $100 bills on the stuck in the window of the car in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's crazy.
Wild.
So Matt, you have a lot of stuff going on outside of your pest control company. You're the mayor. You're a firefighter in the town. How would you say that those activities, how have those things influenced your company culture? Or, I mean, outside of, obviously you're getting sales because people see you, oh, this is the mayor, this is Matt. But how is your role as the mayor and the firefighter and being involved in local politics and other things? How has that affected your customer service and the culture of your company and other things that are harder to track other than just numbers?
We're going to take a quick moment to highlight one of the premier sponsors of the BugBucks Plus platform. Navigating the digital landscape of pest control marketing can be overwhelming, but with over 16 years of industry experience, Lizard Marketing knows exactly how to help you dominate your market and outshine the competition. Their team understands the unique challenges of the pest control industry and crafts high-impact SEO strategies, stunning website designs, and laser-focused Google Ads campaigns that don't just bring in leads, they convert them into loyal customers. Lizard Marketing believes that trust, transparency, and partnership are the foundation of success. They don't just offer marketing services. They build relationships with their clients, working side by side to help them achieve their business goals and grow with confidence. If you're a BugBucks member, mentioning your membership unlocks exclusive savings on their services. And if you're expanding your skills through our online educational platform, you'll gain access to even greater deals to strengthen your digital presence. DM marketing to the BugBucks Podcast Facebook page for more information, or visit lizardmarketing.co today. Mention your affiliations and claim your discounts. With Lizard Marketing's proven expertise and client-first approach, you'll adapt, evolve, and succeed. Now back to the BugBucks Podcast.
I mean, being in public service is the same as being in the service industry. I mean, just one way you're getting paid for it. The other things I do for free. But yeah, I mean, customer service is my number one priority. I want the customer to feel like they got their value for their money. I want their issues to be taken care of. I put callbacks ahead of new starts, which I know business wise for retention is good, but for numbers may be bad at times. But, if we're callback, we're same day or next day on callbacks. I don't put callbacks off until all the money's made like a lot of people do.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I think it's just actually caring about your customer and caring about the value you're providing them for their dollars they're giving you.
Love it, dude.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, I can tell that you have a lot of care and genuine consideration for your customers, a lot of which, you saw the opposite side of from previous companies that you were either working with or employed at. sometimes you see some of the stuff and you think, okay, dude, there's got to be a better way. And if you're not going to do it here, I'm going to go do it myself somewhere else. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs and guys in the Facebook group started their pest control company because they saw exactly that, like, wow, pest control is a great opportunity. And if I was doing it the way that I want to do it, the way that these customers deserve to have it, this would be better for everybody. So,
Yeah. I mean, a big thing for me, even when I was at the they're trying to keep their M&S 2% or below, so we'd literally have an empty cage with no product in there. And then we'd still have a full route to run. And I don't understand how you want me to run a full route with no product,
yeah. Yeah, that's operating by the numbers, not operating by what your customers and clients actually need, which is dumb.
That's having spreadsheet people run your business.
Yeah. Man, and I love my spreadsheets, but
Spreadsheet.
those customers, those happy customers that make their payments, that actually give us the freedom to do what we do. Matt, how do you manage your time?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you got the mayoral duties, responsibilities, you've got your pest control company, you're a volunteer firefighter. A lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the first year to 2 years of business, I mean, burning the candle at both ends. They're working, 12, 14, whatever hour days. How are you managing all this?
I just keep going. I mean, ever since hiring Hagen, I've freed up a little bit, which has helped a lot, but the phone doesn't stop ringing, which isn't a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but for me, really, it's discipline. I mean, it needs to be done. I'm going to do it, whether I want to or not, whether I'm tired or not, I've got 2 foreign exchange students for another 2 weeks. I've had them all year. I've got my daughter, my son, and my wife, and I got to give them time too. So sometimes it's their time after work, and then when everybody goes to bed, it's time for me to go on board the new customers for that day and get them on the schedule, especially before Katrina got as good as she's getting.
Yeah. So where are these foreign exchange students from?
I have one from Uzbekistan and one from France.
What do they think about pest control and you having this multi-role scenario?
I think they're too self-absorbed to really worry too much about me.
They're just trying to get their bearings.
Yeah.
They're just trying to hang out in America for this year, and then one's going home next Monday and the other one's going home in June. We've had them all school year though.
Wow. That's crazy. And they're
Wow,
in,
that's cool.
they went from Uzbekistan to Dibble, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, they're from France.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they've been there having a good time. You should if they're heading back early, then maybe that's your next part-time technician, is just bring one of them in, have them do some services, and then when they go back to France or Uzbekistan, there you go.
There. Oh, my
Started
daughter's
up.
talking about
Started
wanting
up
to
Uzbekistan.
jump in.
Oh,
She's
that could be
14
cool.
though, so she can't be licensed till she's 18, but I could sure as heck use her as a termite laborer.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
that'd
right.
be awesome.
When my boys were young, I'd take them with me every once in a while, and I'd have them. I'd have a medium-sized Webster and just a small Webster on like the end of a broom, and I'd say, "Okay, boys, Jack, you sweep the eaves up here. Jess, you sweep the bottom of the siding down here." And my boys would just come with me and work, and it was a lot of
That's
fun. Now my
awesome.
oldest son, he's actually a technician for us, so
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
pretty cool. He's out in the
Yeah.
field right now today, actually. So
Yeah, Jack the Tech.
yeah,
He's
pretty cool.
if you guys have ever checked out Natura's social media, you'll see stories from Jack talking about his like service stuff and everything else. And obviously Jack's very dry and witty sense of humor is just top tier on
Oh
all
yeah,
those videos. So
yeah,
they are
that's
so
great.
good. So Matt, we've talked about you guys wanting to hit, I think the number was, what was that number you want to get by the end of this
For
year?
this
500,000?
500, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the plan, the pathway to get there. We talked about you've activated LSA, you're doing some SEO work. Obviously, some of that's going to be digital. You've got a really good network of people who are always recommending you. What other elements have you guys talked about or explored that you feel like is going to get you to that number?
I mean, the trajectory we're on with what we're doing, we should be able to get there. But to beat that, I mean, I've been looking, like, I'm not going to touch Angie's List. That's a joke. I've heard okay things about Thumbtack, and like, I kind of signed up with them, and they keep kicking these leads over that I'm not buying. I'm getting more and more interested though, because some of them seem pretty good. I don't know if I see the value in it. Um, I think honestly, it's just keep doing what we're doing, because right now what we're doing is working. And I mean, to have 20% month over month growth is, I don't know, it's insane to me. I mean, literally right now we're what, 10 working days into the month, and we're sitting at one of our best months ever. And we're
Yeah.
10 days, you still got 11 working days left for taking Memorial Day off. So I don't know, this month we could probably do 50, 60.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You know, what's so funny is that there are so many ways to get leads. You know, I mean, you start pumping your customers for referrals. There's leads right there. I talked to a PCO the other day that was he's putting a crap ton of money into Yelp. Can you believe that? Yelp, of all things. So I mean, yeah, there's so many ways, to get the leads.
Yeah, dude, it's wild.
Did you guys do
Like
referral programs?
in this day and age. Yeah, yeah. So we have a referral program. We're actually talking about doing something really cool, which we're not going to pop the lid on yet. But when we do, we'll definitely give you guys a full rundown.
Coming down the pipeline
Yeah,
soon,
coming down
very
the
soon.
pipeline. But yeah, we've always had a referral program in place, you know, where we any customer who refers a friend or family member and that person signs up on recurring service, we always do a free month of service because we bill monthly, right? So it's always a free billable month, or it was like $50 or something. And then part of the technician and the customer service script that we have, for the technicians, it's, hey, I'm so glad that I can come by and get your service taken care of today. Do you have any other questions or concerns? Anything else I can help with? No, perfect. Would you say that I was able to deliver a 5-star service today? Yes, great. Hey, you're going to get a text message, for reviews and stuff. And then, hey, who else do you know that would love to have a service like this? And they're kind of trained to ask that question and kind of build referrals. And same thing on the customer service side. Hey, thank you so much for being a loyal customer. Hey, who else do you know that would want to have a really good deal on their pest control like you do? So we're working on something cool in the background. When that finally hits, I think it's really going to take off. We'll keep you guys updated on that. But I think customer referrals are such good quality leads. They're so sticky.
Mm-hmm.
They have really great retention. And those customers seem to be also very satisfied too. They're a little bit less picky and whiny. Keep my fingers crossed, right? I don't want to jinx anything. So,
hey, Eric, just before we wrap up, I got another question for Matt. So Matt, this is you've been in business 1 year, your first year, and I guarantee we've got a lot of people listening to the show right now who are either in their first year, or they've just come out of their first year, or they're thinking about starting a pest control company in the near future. What's one of the big lessons that you learned in the first year of business? What was it? How did you handle it, and what would you do to get a different result? Or what did you do that worked, I guess, too?
I mean, the advice I'd have for a new guy is you've got to put yourself out there and make yourself known. You've got to get name recognition for both yourself and your business. I think that's what I did well to spark us off. I mean, if nobody knows you and you stick a couple yard signs out, you may get a job or two, but you're not going to get any sort of, sustainable growth like we've gotten. I mean, just doing that, having the connections I have, knowing as many people as I know, do that. Get to know everybody, add everybody in your town on Facebook, make it so when somebody sees a bug, the first person they think of is you.
Yeah, dude, that's great. Make your brand synonymous with pest control, or make your name synonymous with pest control if you're Matt. I think it's funny. Do you ever run into that where like what you want people to say is that the best pest control is like Aero Pest Management, but people are just saying like, oh, I use Matt. Like, you got to use Matt.
Yeah. Well, what chills me is when a lot of people, when they are tagging our business, they tag me personally.
Yeah.
And then I end up going through my or my message requests that I don't get notifications for, and I find like 10 leads sitting in there for over a month. And I was like, I didn't even know they were there. Like, quit tagging me, tag the business.
Yeah, gosh, come
Right?
on, guys. Get with the program. Well, Matt, this has been an awesome show, and it's so glad that you were able to hop on and kind of tell us about your story, your journey, and how you guys are building everything over there. I'm excited to watch you guys grow and scale. You got a lot of cool stuff going on. We'll have to have you back on the podcast here in the future and check in on you and those big goals that you guys have. And for everybody else that's listening, of course, appreciate you guys taking the time to listen in. As always, if you have a coworker, manager, or an owner who could benefit from listening to this episode, the best way to say thank you to us is to share this episode with them. If you haven't joined the Facebook groups yet, go find the groups and join. It's Bug Bucks Plus. Lots of information and great connections there. If you have a topic you want discussed on the show, drop it in the group. As always, this episode is brought to you by Bug Bucks Plus, the #1 training and education platform designed to help you build and scale your pest control company. Visit bugbucksplus.com to sign up and start building today.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks again for listening in. And until next time, keep building those pest control companies.
You're listening to the Bug Bucks Podcast, hosted by Eric Bassett and Jake Klaus.